Hey there, what's going on, fellas? Welcome on to this week's episode here Between the Posts, where we get to talk this weekend's Premier League action, which is the last Premier League weekend of the 2022-2023 season. We've had a fantastic season hanging out with you guys each and every single week, talking games, watching the games, and recapping the games with you guys. Unfortunately, Matt couldn't join me this weekend. He's already headed off to his Memorial Day weekend, which I want to wish you guys a happy Memorial Day weekend. So it'll just be myself. That being said, if you dare and choose to chime on in, hit it up in the chat. Let me know. We'll pull you guys. I'll send you a link. You can join the show and you can give your predictions for this final match week. So won't be the last time we get to hang out because, of course, while maybe the Premier League comes in this weekend, of course, the club soccer does not end. You get the Europa League final and the Europa Conference League final are coming up here in the next couple of weeks, which a little bit of a head scratcher. Why Europa League final is May 31st, but the Europa Conference League final is, I think it's June 7th. I thought the Europa League meant more than the Europa Conference League. Shouldn't that be the other way around? So that's a little bit of a head scratcher. There's, of course, the FA Cup game on June 3rd. And then, of course, Champions League is going to be on June 10th, which we'll have some shows previewing each of those finals. Some great matchups. Obviously, Manchester City taking on Inter. Manchester City again in action in the FA Cup final taking on Man United. And then, of course, you do have Premier League teams involved in that Europa Conference League with West Ham taking on Fiorentina. With the other one there is going to be Sevilla taking on Roma. So, end of the season. Again, I've had just an absolute fantastic time with you guys. Before we jump on into breaking down the 10 games that are going to go ahead and go this week, and I think it's best that we just got to go ahead and set the stage and kind of see where we're at as we head on into the match week. You can see right there where obviously everybody knows we've got champions already been crowned. Manchester City was able to secure that once Brighton lost to Forest the other weekend. So City is going to be first place, but you can see not only has City got nothing to play for, Arsenal, they've already wrapped up Champions League football. Man United was able to wrap up Champions League football, getting a result yesterday at home against Chelsea, winning 4-1. And Newcastle is going to round out the fourth and final team from England that is going to go ahead and make Champions League. So that's a new team, right? We haven't seen Newcastle in Champions League in I think it's 20 or so years. I think it's 2002, maybe 2003. The last time Newcastle was in Champions League. We figured they were going to turn the corner, once they brought in that new ownership. They started buying some players. Really excited to see what Eddie Howe may do this summer in terms of bringing in some players because he's going to need a deeper squad come next season competing in Champions League and battling in Europe. So look forward to that. We can also see right below Newcastle, Liverpool. Bad season, certainly by their standards, but boy, what a great recovery that they did late in the season, just writing off win after win after win, and they were able to secure Europa League football, which, hell, even that looked bleak at times, but great end of the season by Jurgen Klopp, getting healthy, getting the guys back on the field, and playing Liverpool football, that we're accustomed to seeing, so they'll be competing in Europa League, and right behind them, Brighton. Brighton will also be in Europa League. If you've been listening to me on some of my other channels and some of my other shows, I think Brighton's the second best team in the Premier League. I think they're better than Arsenal, who they dusted 3-0 at the Emirates a couple of weeks ago. I think they're better than Manchester United, who they played in the FA Cup semifinal a couple of weeks ago in Wembley, and they were the better team in that game. I think they're better than Newcastle. I think Brighton is the second best team in the Premier League. I'm going to be really fascinated what they do this summer. They've got McAllister probably going to be sold. Caicedo is probably going to be sold. Maybe even the young teenager Ferguson is going to be sold. I think they would certainly love to hold on to him for one more year and drive up his value up into that, tens of millions. If he has another season like he did this year and is being able to be sold within the Premier League, that's a $50, $60 million player at 20 years old is what Brighton's holding on to. So it'll be curious. What do they lose and what do they bring in and how can they handle competing in Europe for the first time ever in their club histories? They're going to need a deeper squad next season. So I think Brighton's going to be one of those teams will for sure start off on fire. Maybe playing in Europe will, cool them off, traveling to Eastern Europe, competing on Thursday nights and having to compete on Sundays in the Premier League could maybe take its toll on them, maybe like around Christmas time, but August, September, October, I would look for Brighton to fly high. And you saw that match hopefully against Manchester City. They were the better team against Manchester City. They created a whole hell of a lot of chances. I thought they were excellent in getting Manchester City to turn the ball over. Yeah, I'm certainly high on Brighton. If we come on down a little bit longer, you do see Villa and Tottenham, that's when you get the first game that's going to matter, and not that Villa plays Tottenham this weekend, but one of those teams is going to be in the Europa Conference League. You can see Villa holds the 1-point advantage, and they also hold the goal differential. So, let's say Villa loses, but Tottenham gets a draw. It's probably going to be it's going to be tight, actually. It's going to be tight. I mean, what's it? Maybe I did the math wrong. Oh, no, actually, goal differential is even. It's +4. So I did that math completely wrong. So it's +4, actually. So actually, a loss and a Tottenham draw would then drop their goal differential to, let's say, at best +3, where Tottenham would remain +4. So, no, Villa's going to need a result. I actually looked at that wrong. Villa's going to need a result. Villa's going to need to get a result today, and they're going to be taking on Brighton on Sunday, who I think is the second best team in the Premier League. They'll be taking on Brighton. All right, let's come on down there to the relegation where you see Southampton. They've got the arrow that says down. Southampton will be playing championship football next season, but it's all talks about Leicester, Leeds, and Everton. Those are the only three clubs that matter. Leicester and Leeds have an opportunity to overjump Everton. They get a win, and Everton can't do anything at home against Bournemouth, and one of those teams can escape the relegation fight. Everton at home against Bournemouth, not going to get a result, though. I think you're looking at how this table is going to look. I think it's going to be shocking. I don't know if has it ever happened? Have you ever seen 3 Premier League teams, not newbies, right? 3 Premier League teams go down? Normally a newbie goes down with them. Somebody can't handle it, come up from the championship, and they go right back down. This could be, I don't know. I don't want to say the first time ever, but I've been watching the Premier League for 30 years. I can't remember 3 Premier League teams going down. And whether it's Everton going down instead of Leicester or Leeds, and that's the scenario you've got. You're going to have 3 Premier League teams be relegated. Nottingham, they stayed. Bournemouth was safe. Who was that third team? Nottingham, Bournemouth, and who came up with them? It wasn't Brentford. Brentford has been in the Premier League. Who the hell came up with Bournemouth and Nottingham? Who was it? Fulham? Fulham was new to the Premier League. Yeah, Fulham was new to the Premier League. I don't know. That's crazy to think 3 Premier League teams are going to go down. So absolutely wild stuff right there. All right, another thing I want to share with you guys is this little chart right here that should suggest there's going to be goals this weekend. The right-hand column, let me show you your attention to the right-hand column, is the average number of goals per match during that season. The left-hand column shows the average number of goals in match week number 38, the week we're talking right here, the last match week. You can see in each and every season the uptick of goals being scored in the last match week. I like that. And DraftKings has a little Premier League special over on DraftKings at 4-1 plus 400 on over 1.5 goals to be scored in every single match. So you need 2 goals in every match to score 4-1. I roll through these fixtures, and you tell me where there's not going to be 2 goals being scored. And, of course, we'll go through it, but I would love to hear from you guys. What game do you think could possibly trip that up? Where do you not see 2 goals being scored? We'll run through it, of course, but I'm probably going to take that bait and go ahead and make that play on DraftKings of over 1.5 goals to be scored in every Premier League game at 4-1. I like it. So maybe I'll just leave that chart right there because that is some eye-popping stuff that it's happened. You're right there, Chris. Yeah, it was Fulham. I don't know why it took me a little bit to think of Fulham. Probably because I had to look up the table so damn high because they were mid-table. What a great season Fulham is having. Absolutely fantastic. So let's jump on into it. Arsenal and Wolves over 1.5 goals. Arsenal at home at the Emirates. I certainly think they're going to hit over 1.5 goals. Of course, Arsenal's been the better team. Wolves is just absolutely atrocious, to be quite honest. I haven't looked up odds. That's the only thing I haven't really dug into, fellas. Let me jump on here real quick and look up some odds. Baseball takes so much daggone time to handicap. Yeah, Arsenal's minus 265 on the money line. Let's just go look at a team total here for Arsenal. Yeah, you got to go to 2.5 to get plus money. I'm curious what over 2.5 is because I'm going to be betting a lot of over 2.5s this weekend. Over 2.5s minus 220. Everything is going to be super juicy. There should be absolute goals this entire fest. So I can't imagine Wolves doing anything to stir up what Arsenal's been doing lately. I mean, Arsenal, second best team in the Premier League. Obviously, they've had a trip up, right? They lose to Brighton 3-0. They lose to Nottingham Forest 1-0. Perhaps that was just what I've kind of been talking about, which is the pressure of the Premier League getting to them, and trying to keep up with Man City and how hot everything's, been going. But, in match week number 38, you can roll out maybe, Nketiah can get some playing time and Nelson can get some playing time. And you're going to see a lot of these teams rotate their squads on match week 38. Going to reward some of those fringe players, some of those squad players that haven't gotten much playing time with nothing to play for here in the last match week. You're going to see that. You're absolutely going to see that. So maybe you don't individually bet this, and maybe this is just a bona fide strong play and you're over 1.5 goals parlay, but I certainly like it. And, maybe an Arsenal halftime, full-time. I mean, there's just no fight. Absolutely no fight when it comes to Wolves. So, yeah, Arsenal, I think, should certainly, get through them and get through pretty easily. What you got here, Richard? Leeds is falling apart, marching down together into the championship. Well, we'll get to their game coming up, but they're taking on, Tottenham, I believe it is? And now we just talked about how Tottenham's got something to play for, right? Hell, they played in the Europa Conference League 2 seasons ago, so they're very familiar with that competition. One that nobody wants to play in it per se, but it's better than nothing. It's absolutely better than nothing, so they're going to be giving it a full go. Leeds is in a tough spot. But to me, though, the real kicker is just Everton at home against Bournemouth. Everton at home against Bournemouth, getting the 3 points as far as I'm concerned. So I think that one's going to be tough. The next game here is Aston Villa. They're taking on Brighton. Just love Brighton. They are so fun to watch. I can't wait to just keep watching their games each and every season under De Zerbi. They're so fun. Villa's been tough over Unai Emery. Remember, Unai Emery and the job that he's done, really getting this team from, when he took over near relegation, now talking about Aston Villa playing European football next year in the conference thingamabob. I think that game's got goals. I bet over 2.5 is going to be juicy as hell in that one, too. Let's get a look at that one. Over 2.5, -1. All right, I just want to do a flat look at all the over 2.5s. -255, -165, -200, -220, -150, -190, -205, -150, -150, and -150. You never see that. The reason why you're seeing that this week is because of that chart that I've got there on the bottom left-hand corner. Every season, this match week has significantly more goals than what the season has been averaging as a whole. They would never see over 2.5s like that juicy across the board. Now you're going to pay for a lot of juice. Now, does that mean there's value on the under? I wouldn't say that there is. Not with the way you've seen match week 38 unfold. I wouldn't be taking many under 2.5s this week. So I think that one's going to have goals as well. Both teams will score over 2.5. For sure. Now, maybe you hold off on some of your predictions and hold off on some of your bets because you're waiting to see, lineups. But if both managers rotate, and these guys talk about lineups. Sometimes it matters. I mean, like they're training against the A squad. I mean, you got to keep the A squad sharp, so those guys are sharp. So a lot of rotation really, it's not going to bother me too much in this match. Well, you got Brentford taking on Manchester City. I'll tell you what, Manchester City got lucky here with the way this schedule unfolded because obviously they sewed up the Premier League a little bit early, about, last week when they got it sewn up. So then their game against Brighton didn't matter. Their game against Brentford doesn't matter. But they got lucky in the fact that they've got 2 really good opponents to keep them sharp before the FA Cup and the Champions League final. If they were unfortunate and got one of these, lower teams like a Crystal Palace, they would dust Crystal Palace 3-0, 4-0. But that's not going to do them any goddamn good getting ready for 2 cup finals. They need a team like Brighton who absolutely gave them a full-on game. And I thought Brighton was the better team. And the game certainly should have had over 2 goals. Boy, if you had over 2.5 in Brighton, Man City, that's a brutal beat. That game should have had so many goals. But, yeah, City got lucky. Now going up against Brentford away, it's going to be another good matchup. They're not going to be as good as Brighton because nobody presses like Brighton. God damn, Brighton's really good. But Brentford's going to give them a hell of a game at home. We know Brentford loves to score a lot of goals at home. We've talked about their home and away goal differential splits. They're great at home. This is great. I love it. As a Manchester City supporter in terms of having future bets on Man City, love that they got Brighton and Brentford here to close out the end of their season and meaningless games, so to speak. It's certainly meaning to them because they want to stay sharp, and they got great opponents to keep them sharp. So that game's going to be over 2.5. Now, I'm a little curious to see what City does with their lineup. You saw what he did against Brighton. He took that. He took it serious and took it like a game that mattered. And other than his back line of putting Rodri in at center back as opposed to his normal CDM spot, he played a weak back line, but everything else was strong. The midfield was strong. The attacking front line was strong. See what he does. There's a full week to prepare for Manchester United. So unless somebody maybe needs a rest for a niggle or a knock, there's no reason to rest somebody. They got a full week off. These guys are used to playing every 3 days, So they rest. They don't need a rest. They don't need a rest. They'll get that rest during the midweek just due to the natural break in the fixture schedule that they haven't seen since, I don't know. That team always seems like they play every 3 days. They're in like every damn competition and outside there. So that's another game, of course. Over 2.5. Both teams score. Like, sign me up. I tell you what, it's going to be great. I'm going to maybe do a lot of first half overs. Remember, that's what we did in Brighton versus Man City. That was a game where it looked like both teams to score in over 2.5. And again, if you had that, I thought that was a pretty brutal beat. But I said, hell, if that bet hits, I bet there's at least one goal in the first half. So a second goal at plus money, sign me up for that. And we made the right call. We got a good plus money cash where, unfortunately, all the over 2.5 bettors suffered a little tough loss. But maybe that's a good way into this angle, is over 1.5 goals in the first half. Actually, I may look at that. Let me look at that split, because those should be at plus money. I'd be well more interested in taking that. Let's see what this is. We get plus money. We get plus 135. We get plus 115, plus 115, plus 150, plus 120, plus 120, plus 145, plus 155, and plus 145. Yeah, I'd be interested in going in that way as opposed to maybe over 2.5, where I think we mentioned 7 of those 10 games were at over 200 or more, with the other ones I think there were 3 at minus 150 when we went through those. And of course, that's just one random sports book that I'm looking at right here. But gonna be goals. This match week. Chelsea take it on Newcastle. Well, Chelsea looked like shit yesterday against Manchester United. Gifted Manchester United 1 goal with the terrible defensive play, and Chelsea just sucks. I mean, they need the summer. They need the summer just to hit pause, let everybody get away, flush this season right up out of their minds, and come back with the new squad. Right? They've got too many first starting 11 players in their squad, and if you read the reports, you've got unhappy players because guys aren't playing. They've got a bloated squad. They need to trim the squad. So certainly guys are coming out. They've got rumors of guys coming in, which if they pick up the right guys can certainly only make them stronger. There's some great rumors out there of guys that then they're interested in picking up. We'll see what they can do. They don't have European football on any level, so that's going to hurt their reinforcements. And guys also can probably see that Chelsea could potentially be like a couple year project, although if the rumors are right, and I haven't seen much of Pochettino been confirmed yet, but if they get Pochettino in, I mean, remember how great the Spurs were making Champions League every season. Pochettino's got one of the greater head-to-head records up against Manchester City. I mean, the guy is absolutely outstanding. Doesn't quite have the players to run his system, other than maybe Sterling. You could maybe possibly say he's a great counter-attacker, but Mudryk and Madueke and João Felix, these aren't great, guys that hit you on the counter, but maybe possibly Sterling is, maybe really the only one. But that's a game that you certainly fancy goals at. Chelsea at home at Stamford Bridge, although Newcastle's been awfully tough, but that's why I maybe like over 1.5 goals in the first half. Newcastle comes out strong in a lot of their matches, albeit most of those matches are played at home, but this is a Chelsea team that can absolutely be picked apart. You see it each and every single week. So, yeah, that's another game where I like over 2.5. Crystal Palace taking on Forest. If this was any other match week but 38, I wouldn't like goals. We know how poor Forest is away from home. They've just been god-awful. We've talked about their goal differential splits home and away. And Palace is just – they just don't do all that much. I mean, to be quite honest. But Forest, safe, finally safe. Took them a goddamn long time, but finally safe after that win up against Arsenal. So they've got nothing to worry about. Palace, Roy Hodges has done a great job and saved them now for several weeks. So at Selhurst Park. I fancy goals only because it's match week 38 and you've got that trend going on in the lower left-hand corner. Otherwise, that's not a game that I would certainly lean on goals. The stats wouldn't like goals on that one. Again, because Forest on the road this whole season just hasn't been bringing goals to the table. But in a meaningless match where we get goals on last match week, I like goals on that one. The next one here is Everton. They're taking on Bournemouth. All right, now we're starting to get into a match in the next couple here that full-on, bona fide matter. A draw, and Everton's going to be sweating the result there by Leicester up against West Ham and Leeds up against Tottenham. So just take it in your own hands. You're at home against Bournemouth, a newbie in the Premier League. And actually, keep in mind, a Burnley squad that has actually competed against Bournemouth on a fairly regular basis. Remember, you can go all the way back to the Eddie Howe versus Sean Dice era. Burnley has generally had the upper hand over Bournemouth. I expect Everton to have the upper hand over Bournemouth in this matchup. I cannot see, with everything on the line, you can get it done and stay in the league with the loss, but why? Why count on another game? Take care of business here at Bournemouth. A Bournemouth team that's also been poor on the road. It's been Forest, excluding Southampton, who's obviously been, just god-awful. But a Bournemouth only scored 17 goals in 18 away games, and Forest is the worst. They've scored 10. That's why it's like an over in that game. They scored 10 goals in 18 away games. Outside of them, the next worst is Wolves with 12 and Bournemouth with 17. Just terrible. Absolutely terrible on the road. I'm going to be pretty shocked. What's the price here on an Everton money line? Because that could be just one that I like. I mean, quite frankly. What's Everton money line? Let's see. Minus 200. Damn. Minus 200. I wonder what, if you tack on over 1.5, what does that get you? Saying there's going to be 2 goals in that game. Let's see. If we think there's going to be 2 goals, minus 150. Minus 150 for an Everton money line and over 1.5 goals. This isn't just get 1 goal and hold on for your dear life, because God forbid Bournemouth scrape across an equalizer. Also, Everton haven't been that great under Sean Dice, to be quite honest, at what he's been able to reproduce over the years at Burnley, which is the great low block, park the bus, and frustrate you for 80 minutes. That's not been what Everton has been able to replicate, what Burnley was able to do over the years. So that one's going to have goals. I think that one's absolutely going to have goals. So like it now. Leeds, Tottenham. Leeds is up against it. I think they're in a tough spot here, even though this one's at home. That's why you certainly fancy goals in this one. But they're going up against Tottenham. Tottenham's looked awful. I know. Tottenham's a great second-half team. That's why this one hasn't had goals in it. Don't be worried, because Tottenham, for whatever reason, loves getting behind early and then loves coming back in the second half and getting goals. That's kind of been their MO this season. That's been their formula all season, is going behind and coming back. Maybe not getting all 3 points, but coming back, getting goals in the second half. Remember we talked about it when they played Newcastle 3-4 weeks ago? We did the second half over 1.5 goals because Newcastle and Tottenham both score a ton of goals in the second half. It's just who Tottenham is. They'll love over 1.5, love over 2.5. I'm sure if we look it back up, that was one of the matchups that was well up into the minus 200s, if I had to take a guess, of over 2.5. Leicester, West Ham is the next match. That one matters. Leicester need to get 3 points, need to then hope that Bournemouth can do something good and give you a hand. If you're worried about the Europa Conference League final, I wouldn't be too worried about that, because that final is June 7th. Plenty of time for David Moyes to play this match however the hell he wants. I mean, you're talking about rest. More than enough rest. I mean, the game's being played on May 28th. The final's on June 7th. So the final impacts nothing in this game. Again, unless somebody's carrying a major knock, then you hold him out. But, there's no concern right there. No concern. You could even see, he'll give him a full rest. But like if they did you see it all the time, those managers, they'll hold closed doors friendlies. Don't be surprised if they schedule like a a behind-the-scenes, closed-door friendly against some team on like June 4th. I got to stay sharp for that final. That's why I think you're going to get the A squad here against this matchup against Leicester. Got to stay sharp for the final. Got to stay sharp. This ain't a time when you can rotate and have your form dip. West Ham's been doing great getting to the final. They've been doing great in the Premier League the last few weeks. And I'm expecting a very strong West Ham lineup. Leicester, I don't know. I don't know, fellas. What was it the other week, or the other match week when we took who'd they play? When they sat Madison and they sat Barnes. We bet it. It's slipping my brain. Or no, we didn't bet it because of those. No, we didn't bet it. I was in the matchup I put on Twitter. I said I liked goals before. Lineups came out, and I didn't like goals all of a sudden. They sat their two best. They sat Madison, their playmaker, and their best winger in Harvey Barnes. In a must-win game, a draw didn't do them any goddamn good. Who was that opponent that they drew against last game? Who was that? Slipping my mind. Oh, yeah, it was against Newcastle. That draw didn't do them a goddamn good. Now they're still sitting in a situation where they've got to get 3 points, and then they got to hope for Bournemouth. I don't know why they didn't give that game a go against Newcastle. Okay, it was at St. James Park where Newcastle's been really stinking tough and keep a lot of clean sheets. But a draw didn't do you any good. You're still in the exact same situation. No Madison, no Barnes. So Leicester lineup's a touch confusing on maybe what you're going to get, but goddamn, got to go for 3 points. Like an over 1.5 right there. And then Manchester United taking on Fulham. Fulham's been a great overall season long. Man United finally secured Champions League football yesterday and knocking off Chelsea. Hard not to like goals in that. You're going to probably get Pellistri. This is where Ten Hag and you see managers, in Matchweek 38, like I said, reward the squad players. I bet Garnacho and Pellistri both start, which is fine. Every time those guys come on in the 70th minute, hell, you normally get an extra goal late in those games because Garnacho always looks great. And Pellistri, he's a fantastic crosser of the ball. Absolutely fantastic crosser. Garnacho's got a little bit more finishing ability where Pellistri is more of a set you up kind of guy, playmaker. But I'm fine if those are the two wingers. I'll be not happy if like Weghorst starts because I don't think Weghorst has done a goddamn thing in a Man United jersey, but I'll be interested in that. And then the last match, Southampton versus Liverpool. Yeah, just goals. Southampton's been dreadful. Liverpool's been really stinking nice here lately. Just quite frankly, goals in that. And should Liverpool win the game? Sure. I don't know what their -1 or -1.5 handicap is, but there's a reason why Southampton went down. They were the first team to go down. And other than a surprise result against Man City in that EFL Cup, I don't remember them doing a damn thing all season long we're talking about. They've just been absolutely dreadful. So, yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of goals scored this weekend. And in the only matchups that matter, I think Everton takes care of business and then makes it so the Leeds-Leicester match doesn't really matter. We do get, obviously, the beautiful thing of all these games start at the same time. I absolutely love that. So, let me hop in this comment section, see, let's take down this thing here and maybe see what you guys are thinking of. What are you thinking there, Adrian? Will Arsenal come out with everything to end their season on a positive note? I don't know. You see guys getting rewarded with not little playing time throughout the entire season. So it's lineups are hard to predict. Are really hard to predict. Look at Roger right here. He says hard to predict the Brighton rotation. Matomo played a lot of minutes. Yeah. McAllister was put on the bench against City, came on minute 60-ish. I think he came on. But Tomo, he's a great player. It was one match I was watching not too many matches ago with Brighton. He leads the league in, how did the announcer word it? Like one-on-one duels, or I don't remember what the hell announcer said. But basically, when a winger's got the ball and he wants to take on the fullback one-on-one, Tomo has the most of those in the Premier League. That guy's really, really good and really fun to watch. But, yeah, I guess you don't. The fact that he benched McAllister against City makes me think McAllister will come back in. But he's definitely leaving the club. I guess nothing's for certain. But you would think him and Caicedo are definitely gone. And I know Caicedo signed that new deal in January, but that was just a really, I think, I think after Arsenal took Trossard and they wanted Casado in January, I think giving him an extension was just to be like, all right, Arsenal, just we gave you Trossard, kind of back off. And Arsenal did back off, and I think they backed off to say, hey, we want to come back in the summer, and we want Casado. Like, we want him. But we'll be cool. You gave us Trossard now. We'll back off, but we're coming back. I think Arsenal's definitely coming back for Casado, and I think Brighton will do business with them because I think they respected that Arsenal backed off. Even before that contract extension was announced, they backed off on their pursuit of Casado. So I think Brighton will respect that business that they did, because you see these clubs, right? They don't do business. Like, when was the last time Tottenham did business with Man United? There are some clubs that we don't like the way you do business, and they don't even talk to you. Great move by Arsenal, backing off Casado and keeping that door open this summer. So I hear you, Roger. I think lineups in general are hard to predict, but all these guys are good, and these guys are training with first team members, so the rotation is not going to impact my ability to like goals this entire weekend. But what do I want to bet? I want to bet some of these first half overs. I want to bet some of these first half overs where I really, really, really love it. So let's get a look at this. Let's get a look at some of these. I wish some of these other sportsbooks had nice layout. Like DraftKings, you can sort the tab. You can get a look at all the first half overs. Like FanDuel, you got to go into a game, then come out of a game, into a game, and out of a game. Just makes it a pain in the ass, quite frankly. Love to see some of these lineups. I hear you. First, I'm worried about what's first half over, and I mean it's plus ones. It's gonna be pluses across the board. I bet if you take that, you would obviously need 5 to hit to turn a profit. I bet 5 hit. Let me look at this. Predictions. If I had to, which ones do I like the most for goals in the first half? Chelsea, Newcastle, Arsenal, Wolves, Brentford, City, Leeds, Tottenham, United, Fulham, and Southampton, Liverpool. I like a lot. I like a lot of those overs, so I'm going to bet over 1.5 in the first half and maybe flat bet all 10 of them and see what the hell happens. Let's log into NBC real quick and make some of these predictions here. And if you're wondering, because I know I haven't been putting up videos specifically for the NBC Sports Predictor app, but I've been paying everybody their $25. So if you are wondering about that, we've been doing that contest long enough. People know if they win, they hit me up on Twitter, and I've been paying it. So we've been able to keep that going. I've not looked at the matchups at all. So this will be my first time getting a look at the matchups. Let's go ahead and try and predict these suckers, fellas. Remember, guys, did you guys see 2 weeks ago in our group on Matchweek number 36, there was a guy. Oh, man, I don't know if you guys saw this, and I want to know how the hell this guy was feeling. There was a guy that got the first 5 matchups correctly predicted right. It all come down to Arsenal versus Brighton. The guy had Brighton 2-1. That game was 2-0 in like the 85th minute. He just needed an Arsenal goal at home. An Arsenal goal at home to win $50,000. I got so excited when I saw on Flash Score the red blinking light. I thought that was going to be his goal. Yeah, unfortunately, that was a Brighton goal, and I went 3-0 and not 2-1. But, I mean, just to get, 2 right, it's pretty damn impressive. To get the first 5, to be in that position, I wish that guy was sitting here right now hanging out. I'd love to know what he was feeling watching that game, a goal away from $50,000. I don't know how the hell I would feel doing that. All right, let's see what the matches are. I've not looked at these. What did I get last week? What was my score last week? What did I get? I got 22 points. Where did that rank on the leaderboard? I'm on the leaderboard. I made the leaderboard. There's my highlighted, so it wasn't too terrible. All right, let's see what they are. I haven't looked at these matchups yet. Arsenal, Wolves. I'll go 3-1. 3-1 Arsenal. Brentford, City. Brentford's not going. They don't press like Brighton, so they're not going to give City all the troubles. They're still going to score because they're at home. They score a ton at home, especially if City messes around with their back line again and kind of. I'll go 3-1 the other way. I'll go 3-1 City. I'll go 3-1 City. Chelsea, Newcastle. I'll say Chelsea gets a goal at home, but I think Newcastle is getting 3 goals too. I'll go 3-1 Newcastle. That seems to be a popular trend here. Leicester, West Ham. I'll go 2-2. I'll go 2-2 Leicester, West Ham. Man United, Fulham. I'll go 3-2 United. 3-2 United. And then Southampton, Liverpool. I mean, just because Southampton's at home, I'll give them a goal. But I'll give Liverpool. Wasn't that the team earlier this year they beat like 9-0 or some shit? Like, whooped them up? What's that? What's a recent head? What was this reverse fixture? I think they whooped them. 3-1. Okay, I must be thinking of somebody else. Either way, they whooped them 3-1. They beat them 2-1, 4-0, 2-1. When was the last time Southampton did anything against Liverpool? Southampton has 1 win, and it looks like the last 10 against Liverpool. Yeah, they're gonna get smashed. I'll go 3-1. So I got 3-1 Arsenal, 3-1 City, 3-1 Newcastle, 2-2 Leicester, West Ham, 3-2 United, and I've got 3-1 Liverpool. Why does it say 10:30? I think the game started at 10. They bumped it up a half hour? Oh, the game started at 10:30, not 10. Okay. I guess. Sounds good, Adrian. All right. If anybody wants to, as the top comment says, if anybody has a camera and anybody wants to join the show and give their predictions, by all means, do that. If not, we'll kind of drop here in a minute or two. But if anybody's out there and they do want to give their predictions, I'll give them a chance. All you need is a camera, and your cell phone is certainly a camera. I give you a link. You join the show. You give your predictions. If you want to do that, drop in a comment. If not, otherwise, it's all good. I think I'm going to do this flat over 1.5 goals in the first half, and I think I'm just flat bet it. It's not take me so long to price shop that, just how the layouts are on these apps. That's kind of annoying. I'm going to go ahead and do that, though. I'm going to go ahead and do that. Let me pull my notes back up. Maybe that's what I'll sit here and do. I'll just sit here and do that. I'm going to do this anyways. I might as well do it with the camera on. I'm going to do that. I'm gonna flat bet over 1.5 goals in every game and just kind of see where we're at. So what is Southampton Cities plus 135. Man United, Fulham is plus 115. All of them are going to be plus money. So again, you'll just need 5 of the 10 to hit. Plus 150 between Chelsea and Newcastle. Man, I love that. Arsenal, Wolves. And again, these aren't the official bets. I'm just looking on DraftKings because I am going to officially bet these and give them out as official plays. I do want to obviously take the time and price shop, but starting with one book and go from there. TOT is plus 120 as well. Love it. Everton, Bournemouth is plus 155. That game's not going 1-0. They can't afford to get one goal and slip. You don't want to go down in the Premier League because you gave up a late equalizer, and all of a sudden, Leicester beats West Ham or Leeds beats Tottenham. God, that'd be pretty sickening to have that happen. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, that's all 10. MGM would be the next easiest book to price shop. So let me go to BetMGM. See what we got. I think that's how I'm going to bet this week in the Premier League. Just take all the first half overs. That's what I'm going to do. That's the way in. So they've got that one at plus 115. That's a worse price. Okay. Wow, where DraftKings has that one at even money, MGM's got it at minus 110. Yeah, there's going to be goals. They got that one at plus 135. Wow, DraftKings easily the best price so far on the first 4 games. They've got that one at plus 140. Easily the best price so far. Plus 115 for Villa Brighton. Still the best price. DraftKings, not even close. Plus 125 for Brentford City. Best price. DraftKings. Chelsea Newcastle. Plus 140. Wow, MGM. Looks like all of them so far are going to be put in at DraftKings. Plus 110 for Arsenal Wolves. I've got plus 115 over on DraftKings. Leeds Tottenham. What do we got? Plus 115. Fulham United. Plus 110. I got plus 115. Wow. All right, that's all of them. Wow. They were not the best price on any of them, so DraftKings still hanging tight. All right, let's see what FanDuel's got. Arsenal Wolves, plus 116. There we go. Now we got a better one. I'm going to do this one on my phone. I have a hard time doing FanDuel on my desktop for some crazy-ass reason. I'm not quite sure. All right, let's do it. Let's see. Let's do the next game here. We got Southampton, Liverpool. Let's see what this one is. Definitely wouldn't get into any player props beforehand, fellas. You don't know who lineups are? God forbid. Because like DraftKings, they don't give a crap if the guy plays or starts or not. They'll score the bet. So don't go heavy on player props before you know who plays. That's going to be a good way to, even if your guy starts, they're going to reward squad players. And these guys are going to come off halftime, 60th minute, and they're going to give these squad players a good run at some point. You see it every year. I mean, they reward these players for, the hard work they've put in, and maybe you haven't gotten playing time, but you'll get rewarded. Now, maybe not Everton, Bournemouth, maybe not Everton, maybe not Leicester, maybe not Leeds, the only games that matter. But I would think everything else is going to get some good rotation at some point during the game. Checking on Chelsea, Newcastle, 150. What you guys up to this weekend? What are the plans? Man, FanDuel's been the best on every single one. This is why you price shop. You can get more money. Get more money when all these hit. All of them. All 10. All 10 are hitting. Wow. Got 3 more to go, and then got to check Caesars and got to check Bet Rivers. Hell, this alone takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of time to do this kind of handicapping kind of stuff. Just does. Even just the price shopping takes time. It's all good though. 148. No, that one's better. DraftKings, man. FanDuel coming through with all the great prices. I got to check one more. I got to check Leicester, West Ham. Better on FanDuel. All right. So that's 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. FanDuel had the best price on 8 of the books. All right. I'm going to check Bet Rivers now. Just while we were sitting here, that Everton money line over 1.5 that I said is minus 150, it's now minus 159. Everton should win that game. All right, United first half, minus 104. Whoa, that one's way worse. Oh man, I can already tell they're all going to be worse. Okay, I'm not looking at it. They're so far off of FanDuel. I'm not even going to click on all 10. I mean, they are way off. They got one at plus 106. I got plus 120 at FanDuel. That last one was plus 102. I've got it over here at plus 116. They're. I'm not even going down the list. Clearly, Barstool's is off. So I'll check Caesars next. Caesars actually has some of the best lines for soccer, to be quite honest. Caesars has some of the best ones. So let's check them. Half props. I need. Not good on the first one. Plus 130 for that one. Which is this one? Yeah, they're nowhere close either. I'll check one more. Caesars is way off too. Plus 160. Oh, and this one they're way better. So now I got to go through them all. Cool. They are way better on this one. All right, they're significantly better on the Everton Bournemouth one. So now I got to check them all. Run through them. Run through them. Arsenal and Wolves. Who do you think is going to win the Premier League next year? That's where we got. Ooh, this one's better right here. Telling you right now, Brighton's going to be the team next year. Man, if they can just have a good summer. I'd be worried about them second half getting tired. But the first half, I'm going to be looking to back them every goddamn week. Every week, I'm going to be looking to back them. They're going to be really good. They are good. Again, got to see what kind of summer they have. That could certainly change things, but better on this one. All right, we're making some bets over on Caesars. That's for sure. Caesars has got some good ones here. Should be one more. Oh, two more. Two more, and then we're placing bets. Throw them up on the screen, and then get on up out of here. Better on that one, too. I like it. And then the last one was Palace taking on Forest. Give me some goals. Give me goals. I need goals. Plus 150. That is the best price. I'll take it. Plus 150. All right, so I'm going to get in a 5-leggers at Caesars. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, why do I only have 6? God damn it. It says... I wrote down Everton, Bournemouth I got. United, Fulham I got. Leeds, Tottenham I got. Newcastle I got. Which one didn't I get? So I didn't get... Oh, I didn't get the Arsenal one? Oh, I didn't get the Arsenal one. I wrote it down but didn't get it. All right, just flat bet them all a unit apiece. All right, there's 6 of the 10 games. Log out of here, hop on over to FanDuel. Get the other... So I'm going to get all the other ones at FanDuel. The other 4 at FanDuel. Should I do a parlay? Should I parlay this suckers? I feel like I'm gonna do the parlay sprinkle. I'm gonna do the parlay sprinkle at like 900 gazillion odds. All right. Which one of these do I want? I'm gonna take off Arsenal, Wolves, Southampton, Liverpool. That one stays. Brentford, City. Leave that one. Chelsea, Newcastle comes off. Villa, Brighton, that one stays on. Leeds, Tottenham comes off. Palace, that one comes off. And then Leicester, West Ham. So those are the remaining 4. So right, South, Bree. All right. I'll put a unit on all of those. And then I'm going to go back and just do the whole freaking, should it all hit, I'm just going to do the big parlay. All right. Reuse those selections, close that, and I'm going to circle back and put every game in there. See what we can hit here. See if they all hit, we'll have ourselves a day. I'll see what these odds are. It's already at 26-1. It's all plus money, so it's going to be. I may put you don't have to put a full unit on this, but man, this one's going to be. This is going to be a great payout. 10 plus money bets. This is going to be one of those ones where, fellas, you've seen the tweets, right? From DraftKings when they share the big parlay hit. Somebody put $2.50 on something, made 45 grand. This is one of those parlays because it's 10 plus money bets. This is one of those, fellas. Get excited. This is one of those parlays. If you want to hear what the price is, it's coming up. I've got 7 legs in there. I just need 3 more legs. 3 more legs, fellas. I'll put the parlay on the screen, but that won't be an official bet by any stretch. That's just to have a little fun. That one will not be an official bet. Do I dare ask which of these teams screws me? It's not like positive energy. It's more just a, question. All right, last one here, and then let's see what these odds are. These odds, holy hell. I don't even know if I could calculate that in my brain. All right. 10-leg parlay. It says $10. It's suggesting I put $10 on it because that pays $43,000. Sounds like a lovely suggestion to me. The odds are... Here, I'll just put it here on the screen. And this parlay is obviously not maybe the best price. I was just logged in last at... All right, here, I'll put this on the screen. This is what I'm rolling with. These will be an official bets. At least the 10 will, not the parlay. All right, toss these up on the screen here. Official bets. I'm rolling with these 10 bets in the Premier League this weekend. There it is. That's where I got them. That's where you can get them as well. And then sprinkle the parlay. FanDuel suggested $10 for $43,000. I would love to take your $43,000. Have yourself a Memorial Day, fellas. All right, that's how we're doing it. That's how we did it this week in the Premier League. That's how we did it on the NBC Sports Predictor app. Again, I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me each and every single week, hanging out with Matt. Sorry he couldn't be here, but it was a holiday weekend, so he wanted to get on out of town and enjoy himself. But I'm sure he'll be back. We'll do Europa League, Europa Conference League, Champions League, and FA Cup. Those will be the 4 cups that we'll be looking to preview and give you guys some bets with. So again, thank you guys so much. We'll of course come back next season. We'll be playing the NBC Sports Predictor app. We'll of course have the same contest as we do each and every single year. I think this will be our 3rd year running in which we've been able to give away $25 every single week. So appreciate you guys. You guys made this Premier League season a little more extra fun, and I want to thank you guys for that. Good luck with your bets this weekend. Enjoy the last week of the Premier League. We'll catch up with you guys later.